Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. So, we're about to pick up here in the lab again, pre any strange things happening with our brains, and I imagine everything will be happy still. If nobody's broken into the lab, that definitely means that that's changed as well, because that should have happened, at least in the last time period. The Japanese office of the Global Brain Science Comprehensive Resource Organization in Wako City, Sadama. Maho Hiyajo had tried her best to hold back a yawn, but in the end, she'd given up and opened her mouth so wide it covered well over half her face. One reason was that she'd gotten caught up in talking to Kurisu last night, and she'd only entered the conversation after it was late into the night. At first, they'd been discussing the research and experiment she'd been doing, but at some point she'd gotten sidetracked into talking about Okabe Rintaro. Evidently, he'd been ignoring calls from Kurisu for the last few days. Kurisu was much madder at him than she was when he'd ignored her the first 8 times. It was the first sign of femininity that she'd ever seen from Makise Kurisu. It was cute enough that Maho couldn't help but take the chance to get back at her for all the teasing she always did. She ended up staying up a lot later than she intended. And since she was too energized to sleep by that point, she'd gotten out Kurisu's old laptop. She'd started to fiddle with it to see if there was some way to crack the password, and the next thing she knew it was morning.
Password ねえ。やっぱりプロにでも頼んだ方がいいのかしら。
何の話だい?
She suddenly heard a voice behind her and almost jumped out of her chair.
そんなに驚くことないじゃないか。
教授、戻ってたんですか？
ついさっきね。
He raised up his hands and showed her some plastic bags from a nearby convenience store. He'd left to go get lunch just 10 minutes ago, and she had been sure he wouldn't be back for a while.
それにしても日本のコンビニは食べ物の種類がいっぱいで本当に素晴らしいね。毎日違う弁当を食べても1週間もすればすぐに新しい弁当が出る。しかも店によっても味が違うから毎日コンビニでも飽きないよ。
コンビニのお弁当ばかり食べていると栄養偏りますよ。
それでもアメリカの食事に比べればかなりヘルシーだよ。第一、食事についてのお説教だけは魔法には言われたくないね。
He was right. Nutrition wasn't an important consideration for Maho. In fact, she mostly ate cereal and meal replacement shakes, which made her diet very unhealthy.
ところで何をプロに頼むって？
あれはなんでもないです。なんでも。
It wouldn't bother her if Leskinen found out. It would if he knew what lied behind the porcelain skin. But for some reason, she suddenly decided not to tell him.
そうかい？私でできることなら力になるよ。
ありがとうございます。その時はお願いします。
She stood up and headed for the door.
マホ、どこへ行くんだい？
気分転換も兼ねて秋葉原に行こうかと。
気分転換で行くにしては随分遠いね。ウィンターローに会いに行くと素直に言えば許可しよう。
そんなんじゃ。
違うのかい？
ついでに会いに行ってもいいですけど。
Baka. Okabe had a laboratory in Akihabara. Kurisu had told her that last night. He said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time, and only recently started going there again. Oh, Maho doesn't know it's not a real laboratory. I mean, not in like the fancy white chairs and fancy white tables everywhere laboratory. Maho was a little interested in it too.
言っときますけど違いますからね。そういうのじゃないですからね。
私はまだ何も言ってないよ。
というわけで、今日は研究は休みます。
リンタロウによろしく。
First Kurisu and now the professor. Why did they keep trying to make everything about romance?
っていうか、ああいうのもセクハラよね。今の世の中じゃ。
For one thing, she wasn't going to Okabe's lab just to visit him. She wanted to see him again and see if she could get any hints about the password. He had said he didn't know, but he'd probably been able to come up with more than she could on her own. That was what she'd thought after seeing how he interacted with Amadeus. You could call it a woman's intuition. She was thinking about that when she changed trains and got off at Akihabara Station. She felt like someone was watching her and spun around. It was a weekday, but the station was crowded. She looked around at all the people, but none of them seemed to be paying her much attention.
気のせいよね。
She whispered to no one in particular as she started to walk again. Kurisu had told her the location of the future gadget lab. She wasn't that familiar with the layout of Akihabara, but if she needed to, she could ask her for directions. But what if she came in unannounced and Okabe wasn't there? That bothered her a little, but she decided she could just leave if that happened. Her eyes lingered on the junk parts lined up in the bins of the shop as she walked by when... She felt someone looking at her again. But when she turned around, she still didn't see anyone. She started walking again, then went around a corner into an alley. And then she was sure of it. Footsteps. She could hear them behind her. Of course, that was nothing special. She would often be out walking at night and hear footsteps behind her. She'd speed up her pace only to see an irritated man walk past a moment later. But this time, for some reason, she was sure it wasn't that. She decided to try walking faster, and found the footsteps went faster too. When she went slower, so did they. Whenever she saw a scene like this in a movie, she imagined that she'd just kick the guy in the face. Now that it was actually happening, she was too scared to turn around. She fumbled for the phone in her pocket. The idea of calling the police never occurred to her. The only thing she'd thought of was the name of the man she was trying to meet. She picked it out of her call history, pressed the button with trembling fingers.
お願い。
The footsteps overlapped with the sound of the ringing.
岡部さん、助けて。
The footsteps were almost on top of her. Just when she couldn't take it anymore and was about to start running.
もしもし
She heard a voice coming from the other side of the phone.
もしもし、岡部さん。私、ヒア城です。今、あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
But she didn't get to say another word. By the time she'd realized that someone had grabbed her from behind, the phone had already slipped from her hands. Nice. What? Hiajo.
これは
I asked Kiryu Moeka as I took the paper she offered me silently. She contacted Daru just 10 minutes ago and told him she was on her way to the lab. And she'd arrived right at the time she said she would. She must have been very close when she'd contacted him. What was she going to do if no one was here?
報告書。
Evidently there was a report about her investigation thus far. The stack of papers was shaking a little in my hands. I still felt some unease when Moeka was in my presence. Maybe it was just because of the anxiety meds I'd taken right after she said she was coming, but I was still doing a lot better than yesterday.
どう？おじさん。
やっぱりそう簡単に見つかるもんじゃないな。
そう。
She must have been expecting something, at least a little. There was an obvious tone of disappointment in her voice.
かがり、どこで何してるんだろう。
With no way to answer her, I just silently flipped through the pages of the report.
どうしたんオカリン？なんか有力な手がかりでもあったん？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだが。
見せて。
I handed the report over to Suzuha without complaint. I pointed to the part that interested me with my finger.
調査の中で一つ興味深い事実が浮かび上がった。この 1,2 ヶ月の間で椎名かがりという名の女性を探している人物が私たち以外にも存在するらしいということ。どういうこと？読んだままの通り。
What you meant? My phone started ringing before I could finish the thought. Caller was Maho Hiajo. Alright, let's answer it. I don't care about this discussion. Normally I just ignore her and call her back later, but
悪い、ちょっといいか。
for some reason I had to answer. That's what it felt like.
もしもし。
もしもし岡部さん、私ヒアジョーです。
She sounded on the verge of panic, and my voice naturally rose to match hers.
どうしたヒアジョーさん。
今あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
Immediately afterwards, I heard what sounded like a struggle, and then something hitting something else.
ヒアジョーさん、ヒアジョーさん、どうした？
And then there was only silence.
オカリン？何かあったん？
From the tone of her voice, it was obvious something bad had happened.
知り合いが誰かに襲われてる。
マジ？知り合いって誰？
But I didn't stay to answer his question. I grabbed the nearest thing that could serve as a weapon and ran out of the lab. I hope it was that cat paw print thing I see over in the corner. She said she was close to the lab. If she was coming from the station and had chosen a route that not many people would go down, she was probably the alley directly in front of the lab. I saw someone there. They were tall and slender, and I could see a tiny silhouette struggling behind them. That was... I knew it. The only girl I knew that size was Maho.
やめて、離してってば。
She just looks like a crying child now. Someone had grabbed her and was trying desperately to escape.
ヒアジョーさん。
The person who was holding her turned in surprise at my voice.
女？
Oh, he brought the lightsaber out. Excellent. It was only then that I realized that it was a woman and that she wasn't Japanese.
岡部さん。
おい、ヒアジョーさんを離せ。
Did she not understand me? No, but she should have been able to guess what I was getting at.
その子を離せ。
I tried to strike a threatening pose with the weapon in my hand. I finally realized that what I'd brought was the Siloom saber. Still, it would serve as a bluff.
もう一度言うぞ。その子を。
違うの、岡部さん。
It wasn't? It wasn't like what? Oh, it's Suspicious Woman. The woman let go of Maho and smiled. She walked towards me with her arms open wide.
Are you Maho's boyfriend?
はあ
Huh?
ちょ
Before I could ask what was going on, she wrapped her hands around my back and given me a firm hug.
だから違うって言ってるのに。
So here's my question, right? Now maybe she's trying to cover somehow, but I don't know how she would get Maho in it so quickly. The phone call ended, which would make me think that someone hung it up, probably the attacker. That's oddly suspicious. I had no idea what the heck was going on, but the two soft objects pressed into my chest kept me from moving.
それじゃあこの人はヒアジョーさんの知り合
Oh,
いな
now
の
we're getting some weird picture stuff going on. Look, Maho's head's in the bottom right corner.
ごめんなさい。私が早とちりしたせいで。
I'm Judy Reyes. Pleasure meeting you, Mr. Okabe.
Why is it zoomed in so much on the bottom? The woman named Judy Reyes offered me her hand. Her broad smile like the sun itself.
あNice to meet you.
日本語でいいわよ。
Oh, by the way, I looked into the black square problem. Other people have had the problem. No one's given me a good answer on how to fix it other than update your console, which I did. I updated the console, I made sure the game was updated. Everything's updated. I don't know why it does this.
え、教授って日本語喋れたんですか？
ええ、実はね。
知らなかった。でもどうして？
女も私くらいの年になるといろいろあるのよ。
Her mischievous wink looked pretty good on her.
それじゃあ改めて。ジュディ・レイエスよ。よろしくね。
Hope you like zoomed in eye. I returned her handshake.
岡部倫太郎です。
レイエス教授は今度日本で開かれる AI 関係の学会に出席するために来日したんですって。
教授っていうことはビクトル・コンドリア大学の
サイコフィシオロジーを研究してるわ。
サイコフィ
精神生理学のことよ。つまり脳の活動によってもたらされる心の働きとか心の病気なんかについての研究をされているの。
Meanwhile, while all this is happening, there's confusion in the lab and I'm standing out here with a stupid lightsaber.
そういう意味では私たちの研究よりもずっと人の役に立つ研究をされていると言っていいかもしれないわね。
そんなことないわ。あなたたちのアマデウスだってこれからの発展次第では十分に役に立つ技術になるわよ。
そう言っていただけると嬉しいです。
In short, Dr. Reyes had happened to see Maho on the streets of Akihabara and had decided to surprise her by grabbing her from behind. Always an excellent thing to do in a foreign country.
でもレイエス教授も人が悪いですよ。駅からつけてくるなんて。
つける？マホ？私が？
ええ、後ろをついてきてましたよね、ずっと。
そんなことしてないわ。私はさっきそこのショップでたまたまマホを見つけたからちょっと驚かそうと思っただけよ。
Maho had only just relaxed when Dr. Rey's answer drained her face of its color.
ヒアジョーさんつけられていたのか？
ええ、確かにそう感じたんだけど。
レイエス教授誰か怪しい人物を見かけたりは？
Dr. Reyes denied it with that unique shrug that foreigners always do. I looked back over the alley, but of course I didn't see anyone.
じゃあ私の勘違いだったのかしら。
きっとそうだわ。だって
Oh, yes, of
日本は
course.
世界一治安のいい国でしょ。
Was it?
マホはこの後どうするの？
私は
Rey seemed to sense something in Maho's silence.
なるほど、そういうこと。それじゃあ私は行くわね。ウ
I've
ィンタ
got
ル
it.
もそのうちゆっくり話しましょう。
I've got a feeling it's supposed to be some kind of zoom effect that maybe is supposed to be closer, or it's supposed to zoom in on faces. And it's just not working right.
バイ。
She gave me a meaningful wink as she left. The station was in the opposite direction. Should I have said something? I got a strange sense that she was feeling me out, but it seemed like a waste of time to resist.
というわけで彼女がヒアジョーさんだ。ほら前にセミナーで会ったって話したことがあっただろ。
お騒がせしてごめんなさい。
I ended up taking Maho back to the lab, where everyone was waiting for my return. Suza had actually gone out once to look for me, but evidently by that time I was already gone.
ま、でも
How did
何事も
Suza
なくて
miss
よ
you?
かった。
You were very close to the lab. After I gave an introduction and an explanation, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Maho seemed to want to ask a lot of questions about the lab, but I had something I had to finish first.
すまん。どこまで話したんだったか。
他にもカガリタンを探してる人間がいるって話。
そう、それだ。それは本当なんですか、桐生さん。
本当。
I looked back down at Moka's report, where she'd written all the details. She'd even hired a private investigator to check it out, which meant that it was probably true.
それが鈴葉という可能性はないんだろうか。
それは私も考えた。でも
探していたのは男の人、中には外国人も。
Foreigners? Why would they be looking for Kagari?
こっちでかがりと関わりがあるのは私だけだ。それなのに一体誰が。
Could it be CERN? Maybe CERN realized that she was from the future and had gone looking for her. But if that was the case, then Moeka would have to know about it. No, the Rounders were all given their orders individually, so it would make sense if she didn't know what the others were up to.
椎名かがりはこっちに来てもう12年にもなる。その間知り合いができたとしてもおかしいことじゃないな。
つうか、むしろ誰かの世話にならないと生きていけないっしょ。
That's true.
つまりこの報告からわかるのは、椎名かがりを知る何者かがここ最近何らかの理由から彼女を探しているということと、少なくとも最近まで椎名かがりは生きていたっていうことだ。
あ、そっか。
Unless they could travel through time like Suzaha, if they were looking for her, that meant they'd known where she was until she disappeared. If people had started looking for her in the last few months, that meant that she'd been alive until then. If there was nothing else to be learned from Moeka's report, or there was.
どうする？
引き続き調査をお願いできますか？
If people were looking for Kagari and Akihabara, that meant she might still be here.
わかった。
Moeka took her payment for the work she'd done so far and left the lab. Daru had paid the bill. It seemed that when his future daughter was at stake, he was willing to spend money.
人を探しているの？
Maho had been looking around the lab with interest.
ああ、ちょっと知人をな。
It worried me that some of the people looking for Kagari Shina weren't Japanese. Let's check out that text. Can't talk to Amadeus. Hey Ocarine, what time are you getting home today? Something going on, shouldn't be that late, I won't be coming home tonight. I met your mom and she asked me to cook tonight. She has to go to a meeting for the shopping street, and she wasn't sure what to do for dinner. So Mayushi said she'd do the cooking, and she said that was okay. Are you sure? You're busy too, aren't you, Mayuri? You don't have to do it. It's fine, I'll make something good, come home soon. I see. Really? Seriously? I'll be waiting. Even outside of CERN, there were people all over the world who would jump at the chance to learn more about the time machine. If they somehow learned that Kagari was from the future, then that meant she was caught up in some kind of trouble.
それじゃオカリン、そろそろ冷や上司のことを詳しく。
Kuisku? Kuisku, that's not the button I need. Kuisku. That's slang shortening of Kuwashiku, or give me details. Usually when you want to know more information about something.
詳しくって言われても前に説明したぞ。
She was Dr. Leskinen's assistant, and both she and the professor had been very good to me. I was helping with their work a little. I told him all this before.
例えば冷や上司がこのラボのメンバーに加わってくれる的な超展開はありますか？
Super development. In a game, anime, novel, etc., refers to something that happens which completely ignores the plot and foreshadowing that occurred up until then. Super development instead takes a story in a completely new direction. Similar to the phase Deus Ex Machina, these completely unexpected plot developments leave viewers bewildered and struggling to keep up. Excellent.
ないだろう。
じゃあせめて魔法タンと呼んでもいいですか？つうか呼ぶ！
マホタン？
あれ？名前間違ってた？
そうじゃなくて、その変な呼び方に引っかかったの。
でも魔法タンは魔法タンって感じじゃん。なあオカリン。
俺に振るな。
とにかくその呼び方はやめて。
だが断る。
He never changes, does he?
それで冷や嬢さん、今日はどうしてラボに？俺ここのことは君に話したかな？
アマデウスに教えてもらったわ。今日は本来は話したいことがあったのだけれど、まあいいわ。噂のラボを見ることができたし、それになんだかあなたたちも大変みたいだから。
ひょっとしてあいつ怒っ…
ええ、とても怒ってたわ。連絡しても出ないって。
That's exactly what I expected, yeah.
え？何？それ何の話？
別に浮いた話じゃないからいちいち反応するなって。
岡部さん、やっぱり辛いの？だったらテスターやめてもらっても。
あ、いや、そういうわけじゃないんだ。ただ
I hated how I was starting to feel dependent on her.
また気が向いた時にでも話してあげて。あの子も寂しがってるわ。
わかった。
The word lonely made my heart ache a little. But even so, I didn't talk to Kurisu that day. Can we talk to Kurisu now? No. Alright, I think that's a good spot to stop. I think it was on the second day of the new year, if I'm not mistaken, is when we get to the point where we can make a decision that'll change the story. So we're still a couple days off. We still got to go through Christmas and New Year's and everything. So anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. And we will proceed from there next time. Bye!